get more confidence on your own riding skill. Okay, so we're gonna try and cover as much as possible. Right, usually the bikes which you are riding are far more competent to do a lot of things over here. Right, and we're gonna try and exploit the whole potential of it. All right. So first step is obviously we're going to start with the basic body positions while you sit and stand on the bike. All right. You being the regular commuters and regular users of the bike on road, those are particular habits, I would say, that you've developed over the period of time. So in the beginning, it will be a lot of unlearning process for you. Right? You gotta pay attention to one skill at a time or one area at a time, and then you start adding up further and further, and then everything comes together. Right? At the initial, you may feel it's quite difficult, but trust me, it is actually easy. Okay? But at the same time, I wouldn't advise you to rush into. All right? It's like there's a saying, right? Like a common mistake where men do is they often run before they learn to walk. You know, don't let that happen today. All right, try and walk first. Okay, understand, get your head around it, and then try and run if you can. Okay, so today we're gonna focus on the techniques bit of it. Now these techniques, what we're gonna teach you, are more about off-road, but however, they are also going to get you confidence on riding on road. All right, there's no such thing that you can't use them on road as well, and we're going to make you comfortable to handle your slightly on the heavier side motorcycles, right? So these techniques will allow you to tackle a lot of small speed stuff. Probably you'll be noticing by now that going fast is not a problem. It's all about when things go slow in tight spaces, right? That's when you kind of probably struggling, right? So that's exactly where how to learn to carry momentum and how to carry yourself through a situation is what we're gonna practice today. Okay, so before we head, there are a couple of rules we need to set. It's in terms of safety. Every time you park a bike, every time you come in over here, you park in this form. All right, easier. Always when you are headed out for the track, okay, when there's an open practice time, please look out to your right, left, behind, and see whether it's coming ongoing on you or no. All right, it's just for the safety parameters. In case if you have a fall, okay, try and switch off the engine first, okay, and then attempt to lift. Also, don't panic or don't rush to help people. Let him gather himself. Okay. Also, if you fall on the track, okay, as soon as you pick up the bike and you are comfortable, please move the bike away from the track, whether inside or outside, whatever is based on the situation. Clear?
Yeah.
All right, shall we start?
Yes. Yep.
All right, super. So we'll start with the positions over here. First step is when you sit. All right. Now, as you sit, a typical road posture is you put your foot in place. Yeah, is you cover up your brake levers and gear levers, and your elbows are down, right? Like in this fashion. Generally you ride in something a very relaxed posture, right? For an off-road, this is a strict no. All right. So I'm going to start from bottom up. Okay. First step is you always move your foot behind in this fashion, both sides. All right. You basically stay away from the levers, the controls. All right. Okay. Why so? Is because you're riding in off-road conditions, you're constantly moving. Accidentally you might shift a gear, or you're probably riding with the brakes on. All right. So in order to stay away from it, not to use them unwantedly, you stay away from it. All right. That is step one. Step two is you will always try to be one with the bike. Now, how to do though? Best way is you grab the bike with your legs. All right. This is the way you always become one with the bike. Now, why you should be one with the bike? Obvious reasons. You should be able to handle all the obstacles together and not as two different masses. Then there are two different reactions, and it's gonna disturb the whole situation, right? So in order to tackle it, you gotta always be one with the bike. You'll always notice everybody talks about it, and you'll also experience how when you be one with the bike helps. Okay, so always grab the bike. Okay, now there is another very common misconception where people think is when we say grab the bike means focus on the knee areas to grab the bike. All right, no, that's not the only place to grab the bike. You actually grab your bike down up. That means right from the foot all the way to the knees and above. Okay, that means you do not grab. If I could imagine the way if you think about grabbing the bike with the knees, it will somewhat look like this, right? But no, I would grab the bike like this. That's like a complete hold. All right, your bike is designed for it to grab it in that way too. All right, so remember this. This is probably one of the hardest thing to do in the beginning, but once you get to do this, trust me, it's going to help you a lot. Okay, so that's one. Let's move ahead. Then coming to your relaxed posture of your elbows down. That's again a strict no. Why so? Obviously the bike is going through a lot of obstacles. Now when your elbows are up and all the jerks given down from the bike, okay, you are with a very strong hold, you can resist. Versus when you are down in a loose contact, you will not be able to hold yourself firmly. All right, that's another loose mass up above. Okay, so when you're with the elbows up, you're able to hold yourself a lot more firmly. This way you also utilize all your bigger muscles of your body, rather than when your elbows are down, you only end up using the forearms. All right, so you are basically sharing the load of your muscles, right? That way you will have less fatigue. Again, reminder, you will find it difficult in the beginning, but pay attention to one thing at a time. All right, lap by lap, and then try and put things together. Okay, you may not get everything right on the first lap. All right, but you gotta pay attention to probably maybe at the foot or maybe at the elbows at a time. Okay, once you get that and build your subconscious memory, then you move on to the next step. Okay, so it's gonna be all about the little bit of unlearning process over here. Is a little bit hard, but it's gonna get easier later. Next step is your fingers on the grip. Over here, I've noticed, maybe some of y'all are already doing it, is that they try and put all the 4 fingers on the levers. All right, again, that's a strict no. Reason being, this compromises the grip on the handlebar. All right, again, you know it, right? The situation is gonna get rough. You would not want your hand to slip off, right? Exactly. So the only way to grip well is having the first 2 fingers on the levers. Okay, none other but just the first 2 fingers. Yeah, in that fashion, yes. All right, don't try and grip in this fashion where you're using the other 3 fingers. First 2 fingers are important. This way the bike is completely locked with you. Okay, right from your toes to all the way to the hands. All right, elbows up. Again, a summary: toes a foot behind on your toes. Okay, elbows up, grabbing your bike, and 2 fingers. Am I clear? All right, this is what is a sitting position. Now moving on to standing posture. Now most of the time you will notice, and you must have seen the images / videos where people, when they ride off-road, they ride standing. Why so? Standing because it is less tiring, right? It also allows you to absorb those impacts coming to your body. If you have noticed, people who do skiing, they don't have a suspension, but they use their knees as suspension, right, to absorb impacts. Similarly, you're going to do the same thing. That means you're not just going to let the bike work, but you're going to work with the bike. All right, when you stand on it, you also get lesser feedback in terms of the feel of the same obstacle while you sit, and the feel of the same obstacle while you stand are 2 different feelings. When you stand, you end up absorbing. That way you get a lesser feedback. That way you are a lot more confident. All right, so always we recommend, when people are going over an obstacle, stand up. This will get you a better command on the bike and a better control over an obstacle. All right, that's a rule for off-road. All right, so how to stand up? Okay, it's a very simple posture. If you observe Bhima over here, he stood up straight, All right, again the elbows are wide up, okay, and focus on getting your hips behind. All right, if you notice sideways, he is more or less centered with the bike between the two wheels. You are always trying to put the weight in the center, especially on the flat grounds. All right, and when you go incline and decline, as we progress, we're going to tell you how to move front and back for different kind of situation. But a neutral posture is that you stand up in a knee slightly bent on your toes with your elbows up wide, okay, and you constantly look far ahead and not down over here. This is the third very critical thing. Where you look is where you go. You must have heard this, right? Exactly. Why so? It's obvious, because your brains are processed for that. If you look way too down, you're only processed till there. If you look further up, you're processing that much further. Alright, this is going to be again a difficult thing for you to do it, especially when it's off-road, because your bike underneath, you're going to feel constantly sliding. So then immediately you will shift your vision down. Alright, and that's where the problem is. When you shift your vision down, you do not know whether to throttle or to brake. But the very first thing you will do is brake. Alright, actually in off-road, giving throttle is actually a lot more helpful than braking. Yeah, it's kind of counterintuitive, but yes, that works. Okay, so you will understand why we say so. Okay, there is probably a saying you must have heard: when in doubt, throttle it out. Yeah, so when in doubt, throttle it out and not brake in. So that's what we practice. That's what we live by over here. So yeah, it's gonna be a little bit difficult to get your head around it in the beginning, but don't worry, we'll take you through those spaces. So a quick summary while you're standing on your toes. Grab your bike. Remember to grab your bike in a fashion this way, with your elbows out, and make sure your hips are moving behind. Okay, so and vision straight ahead.